Good morning, friends. Juma Kareem, as we very fondly say and greet each other on a Friday morning, particularly in the entire Middle East or Arab world, or for that matter, even in the entire Islamic world. Friday is the day when every Islamic believer and follower likes to dedicate his day in austerity, simplicity, and in good faith to the Creator Allah and offer his heartfelt greetings and good tidings and seek his blessings for good days ahead. I've had the luxury of a relaxing Friday after quite a while, and it's really nice to get up late in the morning and feel good, and after a good 8 hours sleep. Friends, my narrative is based on my philosophy today of how to choose the most ripe and perfectly, um, mm, you know, desirable fruit from the basket, which is available before me. I use this, connotation to say how to choose the ripest fruit is because we are flooded with a barrage of different kinds of advices, webinar induced guidance, tips, and guidelines, and theories and dogmas being propounded by all and sundry in a kind of 360 degrees blast off from every nook and corner of the world. I'm going to classify my next few minutes of narrative into a few important heads, which I think is confronting each and every one of us in today's scenario. Let's start with the basic human necessity, that is food, clothing, and shelter. Food is a necessity for sustainment of life, and I think this is a moment of time when supplies are scarce, every range of groceries and other food items being not available in free supply as well as in adequate numbers. We need to ration our taste buds. We need to tone down our food pursuits, and we need to be more conservative and modest in our approach of tasting or approaching our culinary and gastronomic pursuits. Simple foods, easily accessible, easily available, easily which could be prepared, and yet which serve the nutritive value would be the ideal choice for the moment. Clothing, based on whichever part of the world you are, hot, cold, freezing, or raining and soaked. Choice of your clothing should be again simple. Choice of your clothing need not be fancy. It is not a very advisable and wise time to go and splurge on haute couture and designer clothes. A penny saved is a pound earned tomorrow. So it would be very wise to avoid making fashion statements, avoid being trendsetters, and adhering to basic protective, safe, and comfortable clothing. And more so, in a lighter vein, you are confined at home, and yet uh, there's really no need or an impulsive urgency to splurge money and your assets on fanciful clothes. Next comes shelter. It is very imperative that we stay inside in our own homes, no matter whether you stay in a palatial bungalow or a hacienda or a small slum juggi or a shanty, but be indoors. When you stay indoors, the important aspect is you are kind of confined. You are kind of locked off from physical interaction with uh, most of the places, pretty crowded vicinities and environments, and that helps to curb your risk of exposure to airborne or droplet infection, whatever the finally proven source of transmission may be. Now, coming to the next aspect, which is dealing with advice from all and sundry. Two incidents of the recent past really provoked me to make a statement here. I got a picture post from a friend in US who said, if this confinement period ends up with you having not learned a skill, having not discovered your own self, or having not developed a new attribute, then it means you have wasted your life. I'm sorry, but then that really set my mind spinning. And the other incident which provokes me to really, think beyond the normal confines of the mental corridors and think laterally, think out of the paradigm shift, and reason out that do we have to really swallow like a blind pill everything and anything that the people have to say? I felt no, it's not true. I read a newspaper article written by a colleague in which he is recommending to a population, to a mass population, that the best way to stay fit, stay healthy, and stay active is by doing Pilates and Tai Chi and Kung Fu, Karate, aerobics, and blah blah, so many different things. I have a very simple question. When we advise, do we really understand the audience to whom we are giving our opinion? When you are giving an advice in a newspaper or a magazine, it's read by all, right from the millionaire and the billionaire and the tycoon and the corporate honcho to the blue collared worker who's nursing his only whose only small cup of tea in the morning in the labor camp. Advice has to be relevant. Advice has to be practically viable. Advice has to be practically enforceable. Advice has to be, touching base with the people in their realistic surroundings. In most of the countries of the world, let's leave aside the 15% population of the world, which is upper middle class, higher class, or the really well to do, who can afford to, fan all their fancies and fantasies and live life according to their terms. 75 to 80% of the population of the world is basically struggling to, put two square meals on the plates, on the dinner plates at home, and to afford basic necessities of food, clothing, and shelter. For a person who's barely managing to live up to the expectations and demands and needs of his family, is it sensible to tell him that since you are confined at home, since you are locked up at home, since you are advised and rather, ordered to stay at home and you cannot go to work and your source of earning has suddenly depleted to rock bottom levels, you start practicing Tai Chi, start practicing Pilates, start practicing this. When the media frontiers are flooded with such kind of webinars and suggestive symposia, you are just breeding in him a sense of tremendous depression and feeling lost and feeling very sorry for himself, that what have I done to earn this kind of predicament in my life where I cannot do the things that the world thinks is the right thing to do at this point of time. So, my advice to such less than fortunate fellow human beings in this world is stay in your environment, accept your reality, and try to do what you think is most appropriate to keep yourself active, your mind ticking, not going in a wrong or a negative oscillation. And the best way is to try to introspect and try to also interact with those near you. Now, particularly for those people who have suddenly been estranged or separated from their family roots and also from their social roots as a result of their transmigrational behavior due to occupational demands, for such people it is very important that you have or you develop some confidants who will be good listeners, who will also be able to lessen your burden of emotional stress and help you find a solution in these moments of solitude and despair. Next is another important aspect, which is for the fear and the concerns which are confronting every mind in terms of financial and economic burden which is envisaged and visioned that is going to hit all of us in the very near future. My dear friends, yes, I agree. Even well paid top level executives are not sure anymore whether they are going to face retrenchment, whether they're going to have job cuts or salary cuts or incentive cuts. So everybody is in a state of dilemma. So, the bottom line of success to survive this financial deprivement onslaught, which is envisaged and which is anticipated for the future times to come, till the globe takes one full circle and comes back to square one, is to be frugal, to be austere, curb all your spending habits, curb spending on all unnecessary, relatively unnecessary, or unwanted, desires, pursuits, and luxurious items. ASAP. I reiterate my statement, a penny saved today would be many pounds tomorrow. So, unless you need something which is otherwise going to make a big chink in your armor of existence in your life, do not purchase, do not invest. The internet is going to flood you with a lot of entrepreneurial scavengers who will try to sell you apartments, try to sell you bungalows, try to sell you land, try to sell you cars, try to sell you all kinds of exotic items at throwaway prices. Remember, don't get angry with them because they are also doing all these maneuvers for their own survival. Yet, it is also imperative that you retain your common sense, you retain your practicality, you retain your sense of discretion in deciding what is best for you. So, my dear friends, it's a Friday morning. I need to go and work up a nice steaming cup of coffee. But I think I wanted to share these feelings because these were all the bubbles of thought which kept bubbling through my mind all night as I was nursing a nice long siesta, or rather, I would say a sleepy sojourn after a long time. And I hope you will resonate with me in my thoughts, and please feel free to share your feedback back to me. Thank you. Stay home, stay happy, stay blessed, be smiling, and I wish everybody a great weekend all over the world. Thank you.